today we're in the tropics with Jordan, and we're going to learn a little bit about how our tropics keepers feed our birds here.
Hey guys, we're just going to give you a little bit more in-depth look at the diets we feed out here in the Tropics building and how we do that. So if you want to come a little closer, I'll get started over here. We do feed out our birds on these trays. We do this in 6 different stations throughout the building. We'll do an aerial tray and a ground tray to help aid to the different types of birds we do have. So we start out our diets with a base mix. This mix is made out of different kinds of pellets that are designed for birds. A couple of them I can show you are our parrot pellets, these bigger ones here. Small bird pellets are the really little ones right there. The only difference between our 2 types of mixes here is this mix designed for ground birds has a galliform pellet, and our passerine mix up here has some tofu in it for protein. So once we have our basic mix down on the tray, then we'll start adding some fun additives like finch seed. We'll add that to both of the trays. And then one of the birds' favorite ingredients, but one of the ingredients that I'm sure any of you at home have seen don't like very much, is our worms. We do feed 2 different types of worms out on our trays. Wax worms, those are the big white ones, and then mealworms are the little bit smaller ones here. This is the first thing to go on a tray. It's the bird's absolute favorite diet item. We will also add some larger pieces of fruit for our Turco species. We'll add a couple pieces to each tray for wherever they're out in the building. And you might also see us add things like smelt pieces for our sunbitterns. They do also get a little bit of raw meat as well. And we'll just pull that apart into bite-sized pieces for them. One of the last things I'll add to a tray is a nectar cup. Pour some of that in there. And now our trays are all set, so we're going to go on an adventure back to one of our tray areas so you can see exactly what the birds do when I put these down. Hey guys. There we go. You can see our Victoria Crown pigeons here are already enjoying their afternoon lunch. Up to my right here in a minute, you'll also see the passerine species will start coming down.
So how many times do you guys feed them?
We do a full feeding once in the morning and a full feeding once in the afternoon. And then we also do provide kind of like a bedtime snack for them right before we leave at the end of the day. You can see how many different kind of species can utilize the tray when we feed in this way. We've got white-breasted wood swallows, a couple of emerald starlings, red-capped cardinals, violet-backed starlings, all kinds of birds enjoying lunch today.
How many species do we have here in the Tropics building?
On average, we usually have about 50 species. That number can go up or down depending on adding or removing species from the building. And on average, we have about 250 individual birds in the building. And right now is breeding season, so that number is going up slowly as we produce chicks.
So how do you guys keep track of all these different birds?
You guys probably can't see it on your computers at home, but every single bird in this building has a leg band that is a specific color and combination to just them. So every single day when we come out here during feeding time, not only are we feeding, but we are also observing all of the birds in the building, checking those leg bands to make sure that everybody is healthy and doing well. We try to observe every bird in the building at least once a day. Like these big Victoria Crown pigeons here, I see them multiple times a day. They like to be around and in our space. We did a couple of Facebook Lives about our census we do every year, so we do take that opportunity to also get a better look and have birds in hand if possible. One of our Turco species is coming down on one of the perches right now. We'll see if we can get you a good view of him. He's being very curious about the pigeons. There he is.
He's kind of hiding behind all the leaves.
He's not the most in-your-face bird. He is very personal around us, but he does have his moments where he doesn't want to be around us either. He's thinking about it. He can be very skittish. Oh, there he goes. Now that is a great blue Turco. We have 2 males in the building. They are the ones that we're putting out those larger pieces of fruit for, the grapes, bananas, blackberries, things like that. They are swallowing those pieces whole.
Does he have a favorite fruit?
These guys tend to love their grapes. That's probably their favorite item that we have in their diet. Second to that would be just any kind of berry, blackberry, raspberry, strawberry, things like that.
Here comes the pigeons.
These 2 pigeons you see are the kids of the breeding pair we have in the Tropics building. They actually just got their 3rd chick to juvenile age and have already started looking at the possibility of sitting in their nest again. So we'll see what they do in the coming months.
That's fantastic. Do we have any species in this building that are in need of conservation?
There are several actually. Unfortunately, none of them are around at the present moment for you to see, but very important are wood swallows that just all flew away. They're an important species that we are breeding at the moment. They actually just fledged a chick a couple of weeks ago. We're very excited about that.
That's awesome. Now, I think you said that there was a few other areas that you'd like to check out.
Absolutely. If you guys will follow me, we're going to do a worm toss on the rope bridge.
So Jordan, do you have a favorite species in this building?
I do. That would happen to be the great blue Turco that just came down a moment ago. I find them to be very personable. They like to interact with us a lot, and it's a fun species to work with. Great. I will try to keep my voice higher. It did just start raining, and with our new roof, rain means a lot of noise, so I'm sorry if you guys can't hear me back at home. What we're going to be throwing today are a mix of megaworms and crickets. And I'm just going to take one at a time and toss them up. And the birds you see coming down are our white-breasted wood swallows, as long as Gomez here. Gomez is a crested kua. They are found on the island of Madagascar. We would love to be breeding these guys, and they are trying. It's a little bit of a learning curve the first time birds breed, so we'll see if they get it right this year. Gomez absolutely loves these worms. They're one of his favorite diet items. He will come down and eat them over and over and over again as long as you keep handing them to him.
So around Gomez's eyes, are those feathers or really brightly colored skin?
That is really brightly colored skin. He might take off here in a minute. His female is hanging out up in the sausage tree over here. He usually takes worms to her at least once in our worm toss. Apparently crickets aren't good enough.
He's got to bring her the best.
He can be very picky. Sometimes a good catch, sometimes not so much. He's a little trusting when he's hungry. The fun part about the worm toss is any worms that the swallows or gomez don't catch, they land on the ground for some of our other species that don't enjoy catching worms as much as our others do. We have several like our common bulbuls and our Chinese swame that'll come down. Let's see. Most of them like to hang out in this tree over here to try to get all the leftovers.
Wow, they're really good at catching those in the air.
Most of the time they are pretty good at it. Although usually when I say that, they always miss. Again, cricket, not their favorite.
Now with these birds, do their wild counterparts catch bugs in the air, or?
They do. This is a behavior you would see from them in the wild, which is why we practice it as well, to kind of get some of that natural behavior going. You'll see a Cinereus finch up here on our bridge, looking for some handouts. Too scared to catch. So that's our worm toss. If you guys want to follow along, we do have more stops on the way of feeding. But what we do is the same thing I just did at that station before. We do trays, an upper and a ground, same ingredients, so all the birds have chances to access their favorite food no matter where they're at in the building.
So Jordan, is there anything that our guests should know about the tropics as we start to phase in?
Yes, just so everybody is aware, when we do start opening up here in the next about week and a half or so, the Tropics building will be off limits during feeding times. We are doing that just to continue with social distancing, protection for the birds, ourselves, and our guests. But the building will still be open so you can come enjoy your favorite birds.
That's awesome. All right, everyone. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to SCZ Live today. And remember, even though we're closed, we're still caring.